New releases today, 20,000 pages, Republican House Oversight Committee. First one up, and I'm not going to show a lot of images for these just because it oftentimes, it actually detracts more than I think it adds, right? Because you got like the to and the from and all that kind of stuff. And if we got questions, we can dive into it and I'll look it up. All right, so first one, quote, I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim number 1 spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned.
Okay, when they say he has never once been mentioned, are they talking about Trump?
Yeah. Yeah. That the dog hasn't barked. Now, the dog hasn't barked is a Sherlock Holmes reference. Like, it's a clue. It's from a Sherlock Holmes novel where the dog doesn't bark. So that kind of gives you a clue that something that was claimed didn't actually happen. You know,
interesting.
Therefore, there wasn't an intruder in that case of the Sherlock Holmes story.
Sure.
For this one, victim number 1 actually turns out to be Virginia Giuffre. Giuffre. She is one of the most famous and the one that released the book and things like that. She's also the one that we also have noted that was very high on ecstasy for pretty much the entire time that we're talking about here. So not always the most reliable witness. But this is an interesting email because it references Virginia Giuffre as spending many hours with him at his house, at Epstein's house, when
spending many hours with Trump at Epstein's house.
Yes.
Okay.
While she was actually from Mar-a-Lago, like she was like a masseuse at Mar-a-Lago that met Epstein, and then he like took her, right, and then like was in his orbit at that point. So now this is not also a reliable witness either, because Epstein at this point of all these emails, he's like kind of got to visualize it like he's like just trying to get in the loops of things, like he's jamming, right? He's like trying to find angles to get into the scenes that he wants to be in after his, accuser was accused, but before he went to jail, before he was arrested. So, and Virginia Giuffre was in her, public statements, she was always very clear that Trump was not one of the people who abused her, that it was always Jeffrey Epstein and Alan Dershowitz, I believe. Was she the Alan Dershowitz one, or was
I
that
think
another
so.
gal?
I think so. Yeah.
And then she also claimed, and I'll say this so Alan Dershowitz doesn't sue us. She also said that she later on, after he sued her, said that actually she didn't remember that right or something like that.
It never happened.
Yeah. So interesting one, but this is one of the ones they're going to point to say that's a major deal. But I actually think that's not going to hold any weight because of exactly who that victim is, because we now know.
Yeah.
All right. So Epstein in these emails repeatedly trash talks Trump. He calls him, quote, dangerous and, quote, not one decent cell in his body in 2018 emails. So this is after he becomes president. What's interesting about those is, he's positioning himself as like someone who can stop Trump. Like he's like trying to get media figures to get salacious details during the Trump rise to presidency and then as president. So like he's marketing himself as an access to like salacious material for the elite on the Clinton side and on the Trump side. For the Trump side, he's like, like he's emailing people saying, hey, I got pictures of Trump with girls in bikini in my kitchen, shit like that, right? And like to a guy at the New York Times, he's also doing like rage emails to the opposition lawyer to a sex trafficking lawsuit, Bradley Edwards, to trash talk Trump, repeatedly calling him these words, right? Dangerous, not a good cell in his body. And then and another one, he says that Epstein believed that Hillary was having an affair in the 90s.
Hillary Clinton.
Quote, Hillary was banging Vince Foster back in the day. Everyone knew it, and that's why he offed himself. Too much guilt or something. Wild times.
Too much guilt or something. Hold on.
Arkansas.
You just can't say that anybody in the Clinton orbit killed themselves and have anyone believe it anymore. It just doesn't pencil.
And that's so that guy is talking about, he's a former long-term colleague at Rose Law Firm in Arkansas. So he was working with Hillary before the governorship and then going off to be president. He later served as the White House deputy chief counsel under Bill Clinton. So the indication there is that the relationship, stayed for a little while later. And then he then died by suicide and a gunshot at Virginia Park on July 20th, 1993. Yeah. So relatively early in the administration. Amid Whitewater scrutiny, a real estate deal involving the Clintons. So there was like some kind of scandal that he might have been tied to right when he died.
Yeah, see, that just doesn't scream suicide to me.
Well, and so one of the things here is it isn't clear whether or not he had exclusive information, because that's who you would think Jeffrey Epstein was. Like, he's got pictures of Bill Clinton in his mansion, we now know, and has been seen with them. And we now, after presidency, Bill Clinton was going to the Lolita Express quite a few times. But even at this time in the 1990s, there were tabloids about this potential affair, and even a book called The Clinton Chronicles in 1994 alleging that Hillary and Foster are lovers. There's never been actual material evidence like the smoking gun sort of thing, but it was stipulated. So it's important to kind of like to see Epstein at this time that he's doing this is he's like trying to like say, I have access to the dirt of the high celebrity world. I'll do you a favor, you do me a favor, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Sounds like his job, like his whole racket.
His whole shtick.
Yeah.